This is Eyemouth. Shucks. Yum, yum, yum. Wee prawn boat. Big herring gull. So I was talking to the boys there, been all about the harbour. And it's incredible who you talk to. Met a nice guy, Andrew. He's got his own boat, his brother fishes. And every single one of them are saying the same thing. They're getting crushed from all angles. And every single one of them have got the same feeling on it. That the government are hell-bent on ending the UK inshore fishing industry. I wonder why. Could it be that they are, all these, you know, elitists are so heavily invested in shareholdings with supermarket conglomerates that they want to wipe out this, you know, individualised kind of family run industry because they can't control it. So they try and control it through exuberant licensing, extortionate upkeep of boats. I mean, an average boat can be 5k a week in running costs before a man takes a wage. Fuel and certification and everything else. The more I look at everything in my life, the more I look at every single thing that's going on in this country, the more I see how disproportionate you know, the whole thing is. It's a charade. The gap between us and them, the 99% and the 1%, the divide is astronomical, and it's conducted with a bare face. It's done right in front of our eyes while they laugh at us. If it isn't ANPR and ULEZ and pay per mile, which is coming in very shortly in London, pay per mile charges, you won't be able to drive to your work or drive to the supermarket. You're going to be forced to you'll have to walk, because if you don't, you'll become financially destitute. This is all part of the plan. I can't concentrate on normal everyday things in life, you know, just getting your day in and just going about your business. Such is my hatred for the system. It's a system of destruction. It's in full swing. It's in full force, full steam ahead to keep everyone in the breadline. And if you're not on the breadline, it's hell bent on putting you there. Guy in the boat along the way there, brilliant, great speaker, you know, friendly as anything. We had a right good crack. And you know, there's going to, I was asking for a bit of work. There's going to be a bit of work in the next, you know, next 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks. Things pick up, usually kind of March, April, but April, May onwards, the boats are in full swing. And they are always looking for people like myself that will graft. I like the sea. I like how the sea makes me feel. You know, it gives you an odd feeling, but it's a feeling I like. But it's interesting when you speak to them in these communities. They're good people. These are good communities. Everybody knows each other. They only have each other. You know, they're almost cut off from the rest of the UK, these coastal regions, because they rely on one another to keep each other's bread on the table. You know, the fishing boats, the fleet. Then you've got the industries like the yacht chandlers and stuff that support the boats. You know, you've got the mechanics that help them with the wheelhouses, with the engines. Everybody's supporting everybody else. But who supports them? Certainly not the UK government. I don't think that I'm wrong when I say any industry that is not under the whip of Marine Scotland or the government or anything else, any industry that is not entirely under its control and its regime and being defrauded by it and demonetised by it is deemed an enemy of the state. I'm an enemy of the state because I don't fall for their bullshit. And I'm quite fine with that. I'm quite fine with the fact that I just will not buy into it. I refuse to be under the whip of any regime, especially the one conducted by billionaire parasites that live in the lap of luxury that we could only begin to imagine. Modern day Britain, where children in the UK are being treated for clinical malnutrition while billionaires pass billionaire contracts to billionaire friends and they become even richer. And they do it all in full fettle, right in front of our faces, knowing they'll never see a day in a dock, they'll never do a day in court, and they're literally untouchable. And all the funds that they got through lockdown was put in trust accounts and trust companies and offshore, you know, tax havens like the Cayman Islands, Guernsey, Jersey, anywhere that it becomes untouchable by the UK tax authorities. They might say sorry in the press, they might say sorry while they're being in air-conditioned interview suites, being, you know, being quizzed very lightly, very softly, in a luxury studio somewhere in London. But that's all they're going to do. While these guys go out and risk their lives to put food on the table and bread on the table and earn a few quid. A few quid that's been eaten into by authoritarian regimes that leave little for them and they want 60% of the take. Why do they deserve 60% of the take? They don't deserve a penny of the take. It's laughable. It's absolutely laughable. These guys are out 16, 17, 18 hours in the worst of weathers in probably the most dangerous job in the UK, if not one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, fishing boats. And yet somebody, somewhere, in a suit, some bureaucrat with a few letters after his name wants 60, 70% of every penny they earn. These guys need to come together, these communities need to come. Every fishing port in the UK needs to stand together and do the blockades like the French do and tell them to ram it. Tell them to ram it. So you've now got idiots straight out of university telling these fellas that their boats are unsafe. That boat's been going to sea for 40 years. Or your boat's unsafe. It can't pass a roll test. The captain will say, the skipper will say, come to sea with me and I'll show you my boat performing in a roll test. No, we've done the maths in a classroom, your boat's not going to pass the test. They're liars. They're looking to decommission these boats and decommission this industry at the directive of the supermarkets that buy foreign prawn and foreign shellfish to decimate this industry. It's all smoke and mirrors, it's all lies. Every single bit of it is lies. And they do it with a straight face. And if you want to keep fishing, you'll pay the tariff. You'll pay the man with the mask over his face. These silent assassins down in Westminster, stealing food out of their children's mouths. That's all they're doing, while passing their mates £1 billion contracts for kid on PPE that was never fit for purpose, that never existed, in a company that was formed 3 days ago with no shareholdings and no stock. And they walk away into the sunset with their £100 million bank accounts and tax havens that no one can touch. And they do it all from a penthouse in Monaco while laughing at the British public. So this is Eyemouth, guys. It's a beautiful wee place, it really is. And there's some amazing people here, and the best of luck to these fishermen. And I would stand shoulder to shoulder with them any day of the week. Incredible wee place. Kept going by people with a really, really strong metal, you know. They just keep going, these folk. Because as I said at the start, each other is all they have. You know, their community is all they have. They're not going to get help from anyone else. Au revoir.